Hey, and welcome back to Musings by Nikki. I am clearly not in my craft studio today because it is an absolutely gorgeous morning, and you have to take advantage of these when you live in northern Minnesota. There is a very small window of time in between the sweltering hot and humid days of summer, because yes, we do get that here, even though most people don't believe me, and the freezing cold, wintry, snowy days of the rest of the year, essentially our long winter. So you had to take advantage of these mornings, and so I thought I would come out and bring you into the gorgeousness as I sit on my deck and enjoy it. And I am doing today an intro video for a new series that I'm going to start, and this is going to be a pretty thorough start to finish on one of the most requested and popular videos on my entire channel. So it consistently gets more views than any other video. It is probably 2 or 3 years old now, but it is consistently one of the most asked about tutorials as well. And I didn't ever do a tutorial. I've been asked though so many times on how did I make it, how did I make the cover. So since it seems to be something so popular, I thought finally I will revisit it. But in doing so, I wanted to not just revisit the video and make another one. I thought I'm going to walk through how I make the cover, how I make the journal insert, how I make the needlebook insert, because the whole thing started when I was asked to make a needlebook. I didn't know what a needlebook was, so I had to do some research. And then in doing so, I thought I don't just want to make a needlebook because I'm a journal maker. So I incorporated a journal insert into the needlebook itself. So I made a quilted cover, and I've been asked so many times how I made it. So today's the day. We will start this process. So in doing this, I also created a new digital kit, which will be linked below, as well as the original video, needlebook video, will be linked below. The new digital kit is a needlebook inspired kit, so it'll give you all of the pieces of ephemera and elements that you need to build out the portions of the needlebook. And then, it's getting breezy. And then it will also give you some journal pages to make the journal insert. This is a highly flexible project. You do not need to use the digital kit. I'm going to show you an example that I just recently completed as a design team project for Tracie Fox Creative using one of her kits. And so you'll get to see again how I made this quilted cover, how I kind of incorporate a journal and a needlebook insert into the same project. And so I'll do a flip through of that today. I'll do a flip through of my kit. I will show you all the supplies that we'll be using in order to make all of the pieces, and then we'll start making all of the things, and I will do tutorials to the best of my ability to show you how I get from start to finish and get the end product here. So I hope that you guys find this inspiring as we go along this journey of making needlebooks. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to put them into the comments, and I will do my best to stay on top of that and answer them to the best of my ability. And if I can't, or if it would be easier for me to film or show how I do something, then I will do either a question and answer video to answer questions, or I'll just show it in the next video if I don't overlap in filming timing of questions being asked. So anyway, with that said, I think that is it for the intro portion. I'm gonna go make myself a cup of coffee, and then I will meet you in my craft studio, which we will then look at the examples and talk about supplies. See you in a minute. What are you doing, Liz?
I'm learning a song.
Clearly you need to learn harder. What are you doing, Joy? Cutting out 10,000 pages of marble?
I'm like halfway there.
You're crafting too, huh?
I like
Ah. guys, here we are. Got my coffee that I just brewed. Taking sips of that. Got the window wide open since I had to come indoors. I can still enjoy it. So if you see this stuff flying around, it's because it is breezy. But guys, here we are back at my desk, and I thought I would show you just kind of the stuff that we'll be using. I will show you through my examples here. Like I said in my intro, if you guys are interested in seeing the original books that sparked all of this, that'll be linked in the description below here. But here is a quick list of some of the supplies that I will be using to create this needle book as we walk through this process. The first thing that I will be using is, well, not the first thing, it's just in my pile, the first thing here. I have a brand new digital kit. Like I said, we'll flip through that in a second. These are 3 signatures that I have put together here. Each one of the journals will be a single signature. So this is made from my new kit, this signature here, and I've put in some other papers. So this is that kit made up into a book. Now I do have another sewing themed kit in my shop called Needle and Thread, and I have shrunk that down to I believe it was 80%. So I printed it at 80% and got this size journal pages. So like there's one of the pages, and I just had shrunk it down to 80% rather than printing it at full. And so I've printed those off and created a signature out of that. Well, 2 signatures. So it's a rather large kit. It has a lot of pages. So I've made 2, I've used it like half of it in each one of these signatures, and then put some other papers and stuff in there as well. So at the end of this project, I think I will have 5 needle books that will all eventually go in my shop. But these are the signatures. So you will want some sort of papers. It is totally up to you on what sort of papers to use. I am going to show you, this is my newest kit. It is called Needle Book, and or Vintage Needle Book or something like that. It'll be linked in my description below here. But the way this kit works is on the bottom of these pages, this is the journal page itself. And so it makes up into a smaller journal. Like, here we go. It makes up into a smaller signature. The nice thing about this project is you can make these whatever size you want to. I kind of like non-traditional sizes of this stuff. So that's why this makes up into this almost kind of square journal. I think that'll be a fun needle book size. And then up on top of each page are some pieces of ephemera that you can cut out and use to decorate. On the back side, so you do get this kind of general like background page. So I've printed this out on the back of each one of the pages. So when I cut out the journal page, it will have this on the opposite side. So that was page 1. Here is page 2. So again, journal page here. And then these are some pieces of ephemera and fussy cuts and such. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5 with some little sayings and phrases and words. Page 6 with some borders or belly bands. This is that background page that I've got printed on everything. This is, I forgot what page I'm on, 8, 7, something like that. Then here is a set of pieces of ephemera that you can cut out and use some labels and such to decorate our signature with. And then these are pieces that we'll actually use to create the needle book portion. So we've got some buttons cards, we've got a needles card, we've got a couple of thread cards, for lack of a better word. I'm sure there's a better word for it. And then a needle envelope that will fold up. And then this is a little band that will go around, kind of like, you know, what these do on embroidery floss. This is that same concept. We'll probably put some yarn or some embroidery floss or something in there. So these are pieces of ephemera that we'll actually incorporate things onto, so some buttons onto, that sort of thing, put some needles in, to make up, you know, faux vintage pieces of ephemera to go into our needle book as well. So that is my kit. It is available in my Etsy shop right now. So if you're interested, you can go purchase this to work along with me. Otherwise, like I said, you can do this without. You do not need any, actually before I show you that, you do not need any sort of kits. You can do this without any kits as well. And all of the ephemera can be created on your own in different ways, and we'll address that when we get to them. You will need some embroidery floss. I have just picked some lovely soft colors here. I also have these like faux vintage sewing scissors. I love the detail on these, and they come in a pack of 5. Here's the other one is bright gold, and then you'll see the other one in this book here. But you get them in a pack of 5, and I will show you how I've got them situated into the needle book here. But they're kind of a fun addition, I think, because they just look vintagey. So I will try to remember to link that the scissors below. But if you have a pair, if you're making this for yourself and you have, like, you know, your grandma's vintage sewing scissors or something, by all means, we can put those into, incorporate those into it as well. And I will show you how we kind of custom make a pocket that will fit these, or different versions of where we put these into the book. And you'll see how I did it in this book in just a second. Then you will also want some needles, because this is a needle book, right? So I just picked up this box of these on Amazon as well. They're kind of larger pins. They're meant for like corsages and stuff, but I loved the teardrop pearl on the top. We will probably use some other just regular sewing needles and some safety pins as well, and then some embroidery needles as well at some point. So you'll want some pins or needles. And then to create the cover itself, you're going to want a bunch of fabric scraps, crumbs as quilters call them. But you're going to want a bunch of scraps, and you're going to want them in to coordinate, you know, if you want them coordinated in a certain color scheme. So I've got my pile here that I created these covers with, and this is the pile of like pink florals is what I pulled out of my fabric scraps. Then I am going to, for tutorial's sake, I'm going to use the scraps of this blue stuff, my blue crumbs here, blue and green. We're going to use those to create my next needle book. And then you're going to need some felt, and you can pick these like sheets of felt, these single ply sheets of felt that are here in America. You can get these for 33 cents. It was when I went to Hobby Lobby, per sheet. And they're like, I don't think they're 8.5 by 11. I think they're a little bit bigger than that. Yeah, they're just slightly bigger than 8.5 by 11. But you're going to want some sheets of this. So for most needle books, you're going to need 2 of these as your kind of your base, and then you're going to need either some scraps of felt, oh, that's stuck in there, or another sheet that you can make some little smaller pieces out of. So you're going to want felt pieces as well, not a bobby pin. That's just somehow on there. And then we'll need the other stuff like we do traditionally use when we're making journals. Like you're going to need a way to bind it, and you know, your regular stuff, inking and whatever if you want. But those are the more specific pieces. So what I'm going to show you now is excuse me, use my proper grammar here and lift you up a little. This is just a journal. So when I went back into this, I thought I need to like wrap my head back around making these quilted covers. This is a trigger warning for anybody that is a quilter that loves nice, neat corners and nice, neat quilting. Yeah, you're not going to see that here. I am not a quilter, and I have tried. I think I said this probably in my original video too. I have tried, and I cannot make square corners. It gets wonky and crazy. This quilting is totally my speed. So, this, I had to kind of wrap my head back around this. I think this kind of crafting or quilting is called either crumb quilting, or it's called like quilt as you go, or piecing, or something like that. Crumb quilting is, I think, the tutorial that I watched was called like crumb quilting. Anyway, it's way more my speed, and you get a result that looks like you did way more than you actually thought you could. I mean, it actually feels quilty. It's pieces sewn together. It's legit. Like, so here's the whole cover on this one. And I have around the edges here, I have put some actual like seam bindings that's been stabilized, and then the bottom's folded over to create a pocket on the inside. So I'll show you that in a second. But I had to wrap my head back around this. So I made this, and then I just threw some signatures into it with some paper that I've had laying around for the longest time. And this got quilted onto this kind of fabric, and then I folded it up to make a pocket here. Now we won't be doing this in our needle books. And then I just put together a journal here. This is going off to one of Lizzie's friends for a going away to college gift. And so this will go off to her. So this is my first re-go at this. And then here, I thought, okay, I figured out, I remembered how to do the, oh, that's UPS delivering to us. I figured out how to do the quilting thing again. So this is the cutoff piece of that I did. This is kind of what we're gonna make. This crumb quilt. This is what the backside looks like. If you're a quilter, it's okay. Don't look at this. But if you're not a quilter, hey, look at that, look what I did. It's almost kind of fun on the backside. When I looked at this, I thought maybe I could do that on the, if I did this and left all the jaggedy edges and really roughed it up and get all ruffly, and I could, like, if I did this intentionally with the good side of the cloth, it'd be kind of fun too. Anyway, this is a piece of what I made. So this is kind of a sample of my quilting, piecing, crumb quilting. Here it is made up into an actual needle book. So this is a needle book that I made to, again, get myself back into the habit here. And I used Tracie Fox's Fabric Swatch Sewing Kit. Fabric Swatch Sewing Kit. That is a mouthful for some reason. So I used that to create this needle book. And this will make something that will be extremely similar to this. The only difference is her kit is a fabric swatch kit. So since it was sewing related, I made it up into this. The concept is virtually the same. The only thing different is this needle book / journal itself would be great for if you were somebody who was a sewer or a quilter, or maybe you're a crafter that just likes to sew lots of things, or you sew different types of bags or hats or blankets for your grandkids or whatever. This would be a really fun way to kind of journal and keep track of all the different types of quilts that you made and who you made them for and when, and any notes on, what you're making, all the notes on, different measurements for things and whatever. This would be kind of a fun way. It's like a sewing planner tracker almost. So anyway, let's open it up. Here is the beginning. Oh, hold on. I think I'm still filming, but my phone got disconnected. So hold on. Okay, yeah, I'm still filming. I just got disconnected for some reason to my phone, which acts as my monitor. So the cover itself is this portion of crumb quilting. So it is that quilt top that we're going to make, and then it's bound with some raw edging, and then there are two buttons that create the closure. This one has the closure fixed behind it. I will show you all of this in the tutorials to come. When we open it up, you can see that I've just put some samples of some laces and some trims that I have, and they're just pinned in like you would, you know, if you were keeping track of things, or if you were keeping little samples and bits of things to use in other projects or whatever. Then on this page I have up here where I've got needles. So I've got my little needle pouch there. And then I've got just some safety pins. I've got a little piece of embroidery floss that I turned into like a little mini sample. And then here, if you unwind this little string with some charms on the bottom holds in this pair of scissors. So here's another one of those pair of scissors. This one's kind of a rose gold coppery color. So that goes down in here. And then it just goes over one of the frilly parts, and then this winds around several times and hangs down. Then here is the center of the needle book insert portion. I mean, it's sewn in, so it's permanently attached. But it makes up as two pockets on either side here. So you have the elements on the front, and then you have the elements on the inside and the elements on the back, but you also have pouches. So in the pouches here, I've got some leftover pieces, and you'll see how these are used in a second, but I've got some leftover pieces for you to create your own samples, put your own pieces in, and then some labels in this little envelope that you can use to put on here and label your project as you go. And then in this one, same thing, it's just the larger version. So in Tracie's kit, you get these larger versions of the fabric sample swatch cards, and you get the smaller, medium and small ones too. And so here in this pocket, this is a little element from her kit. Here in this pocket, I have just taken one of the tags and topped it with one of the buttons. And then I've used two of the sample cards. So you fold the top part over, and you can capture staple or glue in there a piece of fabric, and then you can put one of the labels on top, and these are now fabric sample cards, right? So you've got your sample of fabric. So this is what I'm talking about when I say like for keeping track of. So say this was something you made a little dress for your granddaughter. You could put it on a sample card, and up on top here and on the back here, you could write what it was that you made and when you made it, and you know, any sort of notes about that. I think this would be a really fun way if you were a journaler or a journal, you know, a sewer and a journaler that likes to keep memories like that. That would be a really fun way to do it. Here in this pocket, this is some embroidery off of a really old, I believe this was like either the bottom of a shirt or a pillowcase. Anyway, I've used a portion of that embroidery and made it into this pocket. And then here I've used one, I folded over and put a piece of lace in there. And then there's just another tag. And then up in this top pocket, you get 4 of these adorable little button cards with her kit. And so I have actually sewn on some buttons to these two, just for funsies, because it's adorable. So that's in there. And then again, you've got the pocket here that we've got the extra sample cards in. And then here on this back side, I've made 3 layers of pouches. So in here, in this lace pocket on the front, are a bunch of these tiny little tags that you get. You could use these in the journal itself if you want to. You could staple little trims or fabrics. You could practice even like embroidery. If you were going to embroider something, you could embroider the little flower or the pattern on there and leave it in here as a swatch. Then in this next set of pockets, I've put some of the small fabric. So you fold this top part over like that, and that's how you create the fabric sample. I'm not going to fold it over here. Well, I'll show you. I think these top ones are. And then here is the medium size in this top pocket. And so I've got them folded over so they'd fit in there nice and snug. So this is what they look like, right? And then you fold this over and you can tuck whatever you want up in there. A piece of fabric, a piece of lace, a piece of trim, and then make notes. And then you've got your little fabric sample. So this would be, again, another great way to catalog what you've made. Then in the back, so this is the needlebook portion. The front half of this journal thing that we're making, hybrid, is the needlebook portion. So that's what the front part is. Then this back part, this one has a tie, and I will talk you through several different ways to make closures here. If you watch my original video, you can see that I've made different enclosures in the backs of the needle books. This one is just sewn in, so you can wrap it around your journal and take it out. I call this a journal insert, although technically it, does remove. So yeah, I guess it would be, right? Traveler notebooks are inserts. Excuse me. So here's a piece from her kit. I've layered up some fabric. I will show you as we walk through this process how to make this little semi-flexible soft cover for the journal. It's got a few little things dangling from it on the bottom. This is just layered up fabric. It's fabric covered on the front, and on the inside it's just a piece of cardstock. And then I have used on the inside, in addition to Tracie's fabric swatch sewing kit, I also used some of her random pattern paper, which goes perfectly with this project. So I've used some of those pages, and then I've also used just some regular scrapbook paper. And then this is some really cool measuring tape ribbon that I found at Hobby Lobby. And this is more of her random patterns. These are pieces of ephemera from the kit. So I turned this into a little pocket there. And then I've just used, this is only minorly embellished. It's not heavily embellished. It doesn't have a lot of flip outs and stuff, because this is got to, fit in here. And this is already a chunky needle book. If I have not used that term yet, get used to using that term. These things are chunky. They are chunky needle books, which makes them extra kind of fun. But I haven't done a ton of embellishment because I don't want it to get overly chunky and be so wide and crocodile mouth that it's, too much and too hard to use. I've just put some of my polka dot paper. I've made some little pockets with some antique vintage trims that I've got in my stash. And then I've used some of her labels. This is some more of her paper, her random paper. So is this. There are some more pieces of ephemera. I've left the button cards, the other two button cards, blank. And there's some little ribbon that I've sewn on the pockets. You do get these cute little button printout as well. So I've sewn that onto some fabric and put it on the page. These are a couple pieces of ephemera, again, from her kit, as is this. I've backed all of them with this adorable, with the sewing kit, you get these light pastel background pages. I think there are 3 or 4 of them. Here's one of them. This is blue, and I don't know. It's so very light and pastel. I don't know if you're even going to be able to tell that's blue. Yeah, kind of. This is just some patterned paper that I had in my stash. This is a pink little polka dot. You get that paper in the kit. You get this kind of light yellowy cream colored gingham. You get that one in the kit. That's adorable little background page. There's a pocket here. There is one. So to make the pages fit, what I did was just printed them out, and then I cut them all down. So I back-to-backed them. So I put, this is the blue. from Tracie's sewing kit, and then this is one of her random pages, random pattern pages, and I just printed them back to back, and then I cut them down to the size that I wanted. And that was entirely determined by the size of quilt top that I made for this needle book. So that is where the customization possibilities come in, is you can totally make these things whatever size that you want to. Here's a green gingham that you get, kind of a very light minty green pastel gingham. And then I printed that back to back with one of her random pattern pages. This is a little butterfly you get in the kit, and then a couple of pieces of mini ephemera. And then this is probably one of my favorite pages for some reason. I love the polka dot. I mean, I love polka dots. I love the polka dots and this color blue. I don't know what it is. I just love it. So that's the little mini journal that you get. I didn't put a closure on it specifically because I've got a closure on. I mean, this thing just kind of ties it down in, right? So I don't have a closure on here. We'll talk through options for putting closures on when we get to that part of the tutorial. All right, so this closes up. And this will eventually go in my shop. It's not going to be in there today because I want this to be our example that we can refer back to as we work through things, right? As we work through this. And then this is just some stretchy lace. Let's see. Here it is. It's Simplicity. It's an elastic lace. So it looks cool, but it also has some stretch to it, and that's what makes this closure. So you just bring it up around this button, and this button has it permanently sewn on. So that's where the chunkiness comes from, right? This is a little chunky needle book. So that is what we will be making. So in my next video, I will be talking through how to make this quilt top, how we will make the cover. That is kind of the first piece of what we need to learn, because then we need to know, what size and how big to make it. Plus, we end up with lots of little scrappy pieces of fabric that we can then use in the rest of it as well to kind of keep that same color theme going. So in our next video, that is what we will be doing. We will be learning how to create this cover. Like I said, this is a design team project for Tracie Fox, so you can certainly go ahead and check out the kit that I used for this. Like I said, it's will be linked below, listed below as well. And I hope that you guys found some inspiration here. I hope that you're excited to join with me on this little needlebook, chunky needlebook journal journey. And until I see you guys in our next video, go ahead and get all your little scrappy pieces of fabric out. Pull out your sewing machines. I suppose you could do this by hand, except it would just take a long time, and I am too impatient for that. So I hope that you guys will join me on this journey. And until I see you next time, take care. Stay safe. I hope that you have a beautiful day that you can enjoy, even if it's rainy. Sometimes that is one of my favorite kind of days. So I hope you're enjoying your day, your morning, your afternoon, your evening, or maybe it is even the middle of the night when you're watching this. Whatever time it is, on whatever side of this planet of ours that you live on, I hope that you're well. I hope you're able to be creative. And until I see ya, take care, and God bless you. Bye, guys.